it's morning. And that means it's time for Rotten Mornings. The best way to start your morning off rotten.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Rotten Mornings, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Rotten Mornings. Yeah, this is the podcast and not the video.
What?
It's the podcast.
Look, don't look at me while we do this.
I'm not
Don't
looking
even
at
look
you.
me in the fucking eyes because it makes it weird. I like not seeing you when we talk on these podcasts.
Hi, Brandy.
Hi.
Hi, Brandy's joining us. So it's Scott and Matt and Brandy. That's who's talking to you.
And you guys are going to get a top quality sound this time because Scott's sitting here fucking staring at me.
Yep, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. All right, well, let's cover some of the things that we saw yesterday.
I mean, look, the sun's just now coming up.
That's
so-
right. The sun's coming up shortly.
Yes.
Just now. So what did we see yesterday?
Yesterday, I originally had planned to release the spiderweb version of Rotten House, the first part, and then I thought to myself, well, it's not going to be till next weekend when I could show the second part, and that seems like completely broken, especially considering how I filmed those two. So, instead, yesterday, you got the 30-minute sound clip that you can play over your Halloween decorations, and I shared up the link to the Drive post so you could download that yourself and use it for your Halloween decorations this year.
Very cool stuff. I enjoyed that, what I listened to. Not very much. Enjoyed it. It was good. The parts that I heard, I enjoyed. I totally,
them.
yeah,
I
I did. There was parts where I used my ears.
And then after that, we had the episode of Rotten Strips, which I don't know if you guys are new to us, if this is like kind of, if Rotten Strips is your introduction into how Rotten works, then you're gonna not see this coming. If you've known us for a good long while, if you've been watching any of the series that we do, you know what this eventually devolves into. And it's already begun. Slowly but surely, me and Scott will overcome our laziness to be really mean to each other.
Yeah.
And make fun of the last thing that was done.
That's true. We hate each other.
yes.
And we're just lazy about hating each other. Yeah.
But luckily, the more we
get
poke,
motivation from that.
yeah, the more we poke in each next episode of Strips, you'll start seeing Strips go in a direction of, well, as long as we don't phone it in that day. But the very next episode very well could.
Or not.
Or not.
Or not.
Awesome, man. What a way to start a Monday.
Monday,
Yeah,
yes.
Monday. We
And
got
good Monday to you guys.
Hey, yeah. You guys, if you guys have been checking out stuff, we post up about the podcast every morning. And if you listen to the podcast, make sure that you're leaving us a content. Nope, not a content. We're posting the content. You can post the comment.
Yes.
Yeah, those are things that rhyme. We do have some other stuff coming up today. What's coming up today? Brandy, do you know?
Honestly, no. I have no idea what is ahead for today.
Well, if you're listening to this podcast now, that's what we had on the agenda for Monday. This podcast
actually, that's what I was going to go get I don't have the list. Hold on.
That's okay. We'll just talk.
I know that you will see something today if you want to. There you go.
We know in the evening we will be premiering the episode 19 of Rotten Strips.
Yes.
Oh, and it should be a hoot. I can't wait to figure out what that's going to be.
Yeah, no kidding.
When are you going to get me that script?
That's not what we agreed on. You were writing the script, and I was burning it this time.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll just film that.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Today we actually have our review for Nightmare 3008 coming out at 5 o'clock
Okay.
from this year.
Oh, so the one that you were at on Saturday.
Yes. Friday.
Friday. Are you okay there?
Yeah, it's a little warm food.
A little warm food.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo.
Good deal. Just gonna eat during the podcast.
I
are
am
you?
going to eat during the podcast. Damn it, I am hungry.
It's okay.
It's morning time.
Yeah. Morning time, and that means it's time for warm food. Well, did we do it? Did we cover everything this quickly?
We
Did
probably missed something.
No,
I'm
no.
sure.
I think Sunday and Mondays are down days for us, whereas Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and Monday are all down days for us. Let's just be honest. Every day is a down day. So.
Yeah.
Sunday I tend to find as my recuperation day.
Yeah, I'm actually I enjoyed Sunday. I was kind of relaxed, and I actually got to come out and see you guys on Sunday, which was kind of nice.
Yes.
For the first part, and then as it always does, ends
devolved.
with me leaving super mad at everyone.
I think my favorite part of the night was when we had to call the ambulance because you fell down and broke your pinky toe.
It's funny that you say that because, as it turns out, it wasn't broken. I just wanted to leave by any means possible. Matt, you cannot run away with this crazy dog out
Weird,
here.
huh? Weird.
Smelling,
And leave food.
smelling hot food, which is what you're describing your breakfast
food.
as. Guys, we could keep talking forever, but it's not going to get any better.
Probably not.
So we're just going to go ahead and wrap up this section in the same way that a person might wrap up a
dead body.
dead body or a...
This is why we keep Brandy around.
Yep, because she knows about dead bodies.
And you know good and well if Brandy wouldn't have been here, we would have just been like, "Hello, audience. Could you please inject a hilarious joke
Please.
at this particular venue?"
Yeah, this is kind of an ad lib. Nope, mad lib. Nope. You know what? It's not any of those
Sure,
things.
it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
So choose your own adventure.
No,
And
it's not
if you were choosing your own adventure, you would
Choose
have
your own podcast.
No, it actually-
chose a different podcast.
It literally is a choose your own adventure. Hey guys, you've got one option. Hit stop now.
Yeah, there's the rest of this podcast is just going to be us just kind of sitting here enjoying the morning.
And trying not to look at each other.
Yes.
Yeah, most important part. So if you guys want to join us for this moment of silence, and we're done.
Stay rotten.
We're going to go ahead and swap over to our supernatural spooky part. If you guys want to join us for that, honestly, you want to join us for that. Let's
That's
just say
not
that.
what you always tell them that they don't want to be here. So now you're confusing the audience, and
Yeah.
I don't like this new Scott.
You don't like the mixed signals?
No.
Well,
Well, I'm ready for the spooky side.
I hate it. You guys have a rotten morning.
Stay rotten.
You finally find yourself asleep. Off to sweet dreamland. And suddenly, not barbecue, Matt. Stop saying barbecue. You're gonna make me, you know what? Just play the episode.
And we're back. Man, what a great break. Probably one of my favorite breaks. Did you guys catch a nap during the break?
I'm catching a nap right now.
Oh, well, you got to be careful because today's topic is dream demons.
Dream demons.
Dream
Interesting.
demons.
Demons?
Yes, dream.
Are we talking about sleep apnea, or are we talking about Freddy Krueger?
We are talking about the Clawed One himself, Freddy Krueger, because he is iconic to a group of supernatural entities that are the sleep demons.
And right off the jump, Freddy Krueger came along and made like mainstream funny horror, which a lot of people could not break mainstream funny horror back in those days. And that's what, Freddy brought to the table. Like, even, I don't care who you are. I know so many people that will say that, I'm so sorry, guys. We're at NASA and testing another rocket. We have to get in where we can get in. We're doing a lot of work out here. I probably shouldn't say that.
I like the decorations we've put on the shuttle. But
Yes. They actually will be in space, rotting in space. That's what we're shooting for. This was all about get in the Guinness Book, step 2, rotting in space. But the first nightmare, no matter who tells you that the first nightmare was actually a terrifying horror movie and then all the other ones were quite hilarious, is wrong. They're wrong. They're so wrong. The first nightmare was the same. I mean, it might not have been as overtly hilarious, but it's still hilarious. And that's what made Freddy good, because he didn't take himself seriously. He didn't take the murder seriously.
He was the comedic slasher.
Yeah. I think one of the things that is appealing to me about Freddy Krueger is that there are very few other horror icons that is as food-based as Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
Freddy Krueger's makeup, the original design, came from
A bowl of spaghetti.
Slice of pizza.
Pizza.
He was moving the ingredients around, and he's like, "Hey, this is the look that we want to go for, the cheese and everything." So he's a big cheese head.
Is that a Hellbilly Hollow reference?
I mean, it could be.
That's good. I like it.
The other thing that's very food based about him is that his claws, his blades, those are tomato knives, which I'm not familiar with as a piece of
Paring
cutlery.
knife, I believe.
They are actually tomato knives. The specific curvature does not look like a tomato to me, but that is what they are called.
No, I would think a tomato knife would be beveled like the opposite way, because you want to make contact with the board to get the full cut.
I would agree too, but
I
that
guess
is what
it's
they're
a slide, like so you slide it across.
So
I didn't know that.
The other kind of weird, fun food thing about Freddy Krueger, and I hate to keep going on this, but yeah, it's kind of neat
Surprise,
stuff.
surprise. Scott talking about the food side of the Nightmare on Elm Street.
So all of his things are specifically crafted. His makeup was specifically crafted. His glove is specifically crafted. But his sweater is as well. And it was the two colors that the eyes have the hardest time looking at, which
Yes,
is
it makes you angry.
a tomato red and an olive green.
Which is interesting, because throughout my career in food industry, they use red, green, and yellow to entice people to eat.
Yes.
Absolutely. I've always thought that red, and I don't know if we talked about this in another podcast, but red, we use it for like Valentine's Day as love. We use it as a stop sign. You see blood. And like those things all kind of seem like they're different things, but the reality is they all represent an immediate need for something.
Oh, the US 138 is clear for launch. And all right, we'll see you in hell, Syria. You have a great day. Okay, going on.
That's very interesting. I think that rocket was running diesel.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
We're testing out a whole lot of new stuff, but let's not talk about it.
Oh, we're not supposed to. That's fair.
Correct.
That's fair.
But if you chart the Krueger deaths, there are a large amount of deaths in each one of the movies that are geared around food. The first two that pops into my head. The end of part 4 when he's eating the pizza with the meatball heads of her friends. The part in part 5 when the girl that is the bulimic girl, he pops into her birthday party and starts force feeding her the baby doll that looks like her, and then pulls her into the fridge, which is, strangely enough, just heard about this. Apparently there was a story when that movie came out that girl died in the scene when Freddie pulled her into the fridge. And it didn't happen, of course not. But there was a big, at that time when that movie came out, it was sold as if something had gone wrong and that girl had gotten killed by getting slammed into the fridge like that. Interesting, huh?
It is interesting. We have a podcast coming up, and we're going to talk about cursed films, and this is kind of playing on the cursed film mythos. I think Three Men and a Baby had that, as well as we're trying to put something in there that's not really a thing.
Yes, they definitely sought out to sneak that in, and it was definitely the producers of that movie that started that story in the first place.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to the cursed film ones. But we want to get back to the nuts and bolts of what this one is about, which is, of course, dream demons. And dream demons have existed in all different countries throughout time. I think probably, sleep apnea is a big cause of that.
Yeah. How you have the depiction of the demon, like I remember back in the day, they would say like a nightmare was when a demon was sitting on your chest while you slept.
Yeah, and people who experience sleep apnea talk about sleep paralysis. Yeah, they talk about not being able to move, like something is holding them there, and they're not able to move their body. And I think that is a very terrifying thing.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely. And the thought process behind it is basically as if your body has woken up within a certain phase of sleep, but your brain is still sleeping, so you're actually projecting your dreams or nightmares into your waking life as you do that.
Because it's hard to tell the difference between conscious existence and unconscious existence, because both of them, technically, I hate to tell you this, people, but you're awake when you're asleep. Like the human brain,
well, you might be,
never sleeps. It never sleeps. It is constantly processing information. So when you close your eyes and you tell yourself that you don't hear, that you don't speak, that you don't see, that you don't feel, that you don't touch, that you don't run, that you don't do all these things because you are asleep, the brain then has to go into like the sensation of sense, which is why in a dream you can have the sensation of wind, the sensation of flying. When you're not, you can still taste things that you eat sometimes. Everything is still as vivid. You can feel the heat from the sun beating down on you when it doesn't really happen. So when you wake up and you're telling yourself that you are in the physical world, your brain can still manifest the same feelings in that fake world that you were feeling there. And they're just as real feeling as the real world feelings.
And that's part of what makes it terrifying.
Yeah. I had a strange experience the other night. I had a dream, and in this dream, I'm walking around in this place, and there's weird parts to it. One, I saw like a police officer who had a helmet that looked like it had bat ears, and I was like, hey, it's Batman. He's like, yeah, we hear that joke all the time. Good one. And this other part, there was someone like massaging my head, right? And the other people that were in my party were like, hey, why are you massaging your head? And I'm like, I'm not.
Top head, guys. Top head. This isn't a happy ending story.
So I was like, well, what's going on? And I show them my hands, and they're like, no, that's your hand on top of your head. And I was like, well, grab it. And so they grabbed the hand that's on top of my head, massaging my hair, and pull it where I can see it. And I'm like, holy shit, that's my hand. And it had like a black and white striped sleeve on it. And I keep pulling it from the ethereal from behind me, and then it's like wrapped around me, like it's strangling me like a snake. And I'm like having kind of trouble breathing, and but otherwise I'm fine. And my party people keep saying, hey, you don't look so good. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I just can't breathe. Everything's okay. I just have 3 hands now.
And one of them is trying to kill me.
So I don't know. I woke up with a weird sensation of like, man, if something touches the top of my head right now, and I know where my hands are.
All right. Yeah. So I hate this is going to devolve into telling dreams, but it's weird. The two things that you mentioned to your dream, the one single time I've ever had a situation where I woke up and felt like I couldn't move, the dream started where I walk out of the house on the 3rd story of Canterbury, and I look to my right, and there's a guy in full, like, old school samurai gear. And he's got the samurai hat that has the part that flails out at the ears, like you said, the ears. Oh, hold on, guys, hold on, another missile launch. Hold on. That one's going well.
Are we charging for those sound effects?
No.
No, those are free. Okay.
Yeah, those are free, and they're not copyrighted, so it's okay. But I was talking about rockets.
You were talking about
Your dream.
samurai
right.
flail.
So I see this samurai, and he's got one of those old school Japanese like lion dogs with him also. And I'm like, oh crap! And I turn away from it and I start running, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, like this giant python just hits me and wraps me up. And I woke up in bed, but I guess not fully awake, and literally my arms and my legs, everything was pinned, and I was physically like, get up, get up, get up, get up, and I could not do anything. I couldn't feel my arms, legs, I couldn't move, nothing. I just felt like this force like squeezing me. And then eventually I kind of got my hands to move and then my arms to move, and then I was like, okay, I'm good.
That's interesting that there's a comparison with the Batman-esque creature that wasn't the attacker, and then a snake creature that kind of was the attacker.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parallels that you'll see if you talk to anyone enough about their dreams. You'll see these kind of strange parallels. The one thing that I will note about that is you saw something from a different time and a different place, and in the dream that I had, we had actually swam down and gotten into a dry area, and that's where everything was happening.
Nice.
Like we had gone to a different kind of
World, yeah.
Yeah. So I think going into the different world, and I don't know, man, I've said this 1,000 times. We have wild imaginations. We're terribly creative, and I don't know that the nightmares, I guess, as a phrase, is the same as people who don't have that.
Yes. Let's.
I can agree with that as being someone that is a little different from y'all in your creativity. I have nightmares. They tend to be way more reality based than creative based. But I also don't seem to have at least as far as Matt is concerned, I don't seem to have the control over my dreaming state that you do. You tend to know that you are dreaming. I never know that I am dreaming until it is over and I am awake.
Yes, and let's go ahead and let everybody know that when she's having a dream and I go to bed and the covers are all like twisted up like a yin-yang, I go in with a 20-foot pole to kind of just nudge her, because she will swing on a motherfucker as fast as anything. And it's all this, and then she's literally like, I wake her up, get her calm, put the covers back out, go to sleep, get up the next morning. No memory whatsoever of the situation.
I don't think that's happened in a while, though.
It literally happened yesterday.
I don't believe you.
Okay, that's fine, but it did actually happen yesterday.
It's funny, you brought up
I said yesterday. I meant 2 days ago.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'll edit it.
Doesn't really matter anyways.
So it's neat that you brought up that you have control. You have lucid dreams.
Yeah.
I have had very few lucid dreams, but I've had some lucid dreams. But normally, because of how much I go and how intense I go into stuff, my sleep is very hard. Like I fall asleep super hard, and then I wake up almost immediately. I know you have brought up the fact that I've fallen asleep on the couch mid-sentence and woke up and finished the sentence.
Yes. Talk to me.
Yes, you have.
Talking. The sentence ends. I look over. Okay, Scott's asleep. Cool. All right, I dig. Oh, hold on, another minute. Okay, Scott's asleep. Yeah. Cool. I go back to playing video games. Get a couple of rounds of Rocket League in, and then he's like, blah 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 into the sentence, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, I sleep as if I'm time traveling.
Yes.
because
Well, technically, you are.
Well,
Yeah.
I think my favorite part is when you fall asleep mid-sentence while telling us about how you can't ever sleep.
Those are the best
ones.
well, I don't, because I time travel sleep. I never feel like I have slept, and
makes
I
sense.
I stay awake. I go a lot, and that's because I drink a lot of water.
Wee.
I do. I wee a lot.
There
So that's kind of neat. That's Urza putting in her 2 bits.
you
of
go.
that.
There's 4 people
Chiming
on this
in.
one.
Yeah, you guys didn't expect that, did you? So we believe in dream demons, or we believe that dream demons are just demons in our own head.
I believe that everything is just something in your own head. I mean, like, that's what we were talking about with the idea of, like, that shared dream that we said, the similarity between the helmet, similarity between the python. And you can draw 2 conclusions from that. You can conclude that there is a mass consciousness and somehow these things become tied together to these ideas. Or you can conclude that there is only you and that everybody experiences things the exact same way you do.
Well, I found it interesting that in your story of the one time you had a dream like that where you woke up and could not move, you referenced where you had that dream. We had a lot of strange experiences.
That's true. That's
at
true. Canterbury was quite haunted,
and
hopefully we will have a story for you.
yes, hopefully soon we will put all that together. But one small part of that story was the one and only time I ever had an episode of sleepwalking.
That's true.
And it was while we were at Canterbury.
All right,
And
guys, that's about as much as we're going to give you on the Canterbury story. Get teased, because that story is
a very strange story with lots of pieces.
the most in-depth paranormal thing that me and Brandy have ever, like, personally been a part of. And there were so many incidences. The incident of the guy running out in front of me that I remember so well, also involved with that story.
And we have plans of doing this for a We Are Not Alone episode. We just haven't done it yet.
Yes, it will happen, hopefully.
Well, we certainly look forward to that, because being a part of Canterbury, that was a strange place, a strange time, and it felt like it was about 100 years ago.
Yeah, it does. God, it does. I like how
does.
you referenced in the us eating bugs, and you're like, Matt has a problem eating bugs, and the Canterbury kitchen used to be like an ossuary or something.
Buffet.
Oh, goodness.
I had to just slide that in. If you
We
guys-
literally had a dead cat in the freezer.
yeah, which was used in a
A skit. Where it was-
Luckily, that was
eating
prior
cereal,
to
yeah.
my time there, because I don't think I would have
we had a
been able to
bathroom
deal
that
with
was
that.
covered from the top to the bottom in fake blood, and then we had like literally like tagged every other inch of our other bathroom with like Sharpie and paint. Man, they probably hated the hell out of us after we left that place.
I know I did. Cool. The other, like, one thing that I remember of having, or the 2 things actually. The thing I remember about having, like, strange dreams, I have a recurring dream that's kind of happened my whole life, where I will be not running from anything, just kind of running. And the way that my feet hit the ground, I begin to pay attention to it. So my stride gets bigger and bigger, and I'm leaping further and further, and then I know I can break free because I'm leaping higher with each leap, and then I'm flying. And that's how I get to flight in my lucid
Sort
dreams.
of a reverse Adam Douglas flight.
Douglas Adams.
Douglas Adams. I
Yeah.
always say his name backwards.
That's weird. Yeah, Douglas Adams famously said, in order to fly, all you have to do is fall on the ground and miss.
Yeah, forget to hit the ground or miss the ground while you fall.
Yeah. So mine was more just conscious of making my stride bigger and bigger. And it's so realistic that in real life, I feel like I can do that. I feel like it wouldn't be complicated to just defy gravity in that
Yeah,
way.
you see, I'm with you, but like I think like the audience might be a little confused. I know it seems like he's saying that he believes he could fly in real life. What he means is he believes he could run in real life, and one day he's going to do it.
The other thing that occurs that is very strange and always startling to me in a way is there is a part where I'm just exhausted. I am about to go to sleep and I hear someone say my name. I can be completely alone and it is not something I'm believing is someone saying my name. It's not something I'm like, hang on.
All right, that's the Q381. Mark?
I didn't know that was due for launch today.
Oh, yeah. We're putting out a lot of them today.
Okay.
I've done that on several occasions too. Be right on the edge of falling asleep, and then it feels like someone just said your name, like right in your ear, trying to get your attention.
Happens to me all the time too. But that's how I know I am falling asleep.
You've said this before, yeah.
Yeah, that I wait until I start hearing someone talking to me, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm falling asleep.
That's weird because I don't have people saying anything other than my name, and it's not like repeated or anything. It's one of the weirdest things that I heard about that one time is if you experience that, what if you are in a coma and that's someone saying your name to wake you up?
Yeah.
And just having that mindset was kind of a strange dawning. Like, what if that is what that is?
I mean, what if at any time you hear voices in your head, that is what that is, and this whole world is just a coma dream?
Yeah. What if we're in the Matrix?
Yeah, what if I'm dead? I know I'm not in my happy place. I really need to rethink this.
Yeah, I understand that. So that's some weird stuff, guys. I don't know if you guys have experienced something similar. There's the three of us on this podcast, and all three of us have said right at the break between consciousness and subconsciousness, there is a period of time where we can hear very clearly, very audibly, and sometimes very startlingly our name. And it's usually with me, it's like a forced. Like it's a Scott.
Almost as if it's like, don't fall asleep yet.
Yeah, or like, hey, I need you for one more thing.
Yep.
Hey, don't go yet.
Okay, and on another note, have you ever noticed how you have some of your best ideas right in those moments when you're falling asleep? I can't tell you how many scripts I have written, and as I'm thinking about them and falling asleep, I'm forgetting almost immediately the great idea I had, and I'm fighting to remember what that idea was.
Dude, I'm so glad that you brought that up. And dear listener, if you're new to this podcast, this is a great time to point out that Matt will use any excuse to not have a good idea. It's been since 97 since he's had one. And
Wait a minute, what happened in 97?
I don't remember.
Are you just being kind right now?
I totally am. Whether it's, hey, I was I had a great idea, but I fell asleep. Or I knew I was forgetting this. This is not the greatest song in the world. This is just a tribute.
I had this great idea, but then I realized I had to talk to you about it, and it went...
That's fair. That's fair. We have poo-pooed on each other's dreams countlessly.
I mean, if it wasn't for us, we would be, probably really conceited.
Yeah, if it wasn't for us, we'd probably be really good.
Yeah, if it wasn't for me being me and you being you, we'd probably, we could even be famous.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for you acting the way you do and I acting the way I do, we could probably be friends.
Let's not go out of the realm.
Pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
That's a bit much.
Yeah. Famous, not a stretch. Friends.
Not all F words come easy. You know?
Yeah. We could be French fries. If
Right
you weren't
back
made
to
of
food.
human and you were made of potato, and I was dipped in greasy fat, I don't know why that's a thing. I would just want to be dipped in greasy fat.
So I'm glad we started off at Freddy Krueger and ended in talking about our feelings and dreams. This is the gayest podcast ever.
The second Freddy movie has been called that repeatedly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
it's so back and forth with me about that movie. It does have definite undertones of that, like ridiculously. And the fact that it was a guy for the only movie that the principal, or the gym teacher was actually killed by Freddy, which never ever happens. Freddy was more after the adults in that movie than he was after the kids. And it was almost like they tried to turn Freddy into a metaphor for repression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is probably a good time to bring up a startling difference between Robert Englund's Freddy and the Freddy played by not Haley Joel Osment.
Yes, but
but similar to
man,
that.
I remembered it right when we started this because I was going to say something about that.
Anyway,
something Haley.
yeah, the other character who played Freddy. The startling difference is that Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger was a child murderer.
Yes,
and not a pedophile. There was nothing inherently childly sexual about this character.
Not to mention the fact that if you sort of kind of stop at Freddy's dead because of what they implied in Freddy's dead, there is no time when there was any true evidence that Freddy was a child killer before the town just decided that he was that thing. And if you remember, we have our very first ever in the history of time Karen, which is her mom.
Yeah.
And she's that person.
Yeah.
She's that jump to conclusions. That's why they're all like, don't worry about it, honey. Nothing's happening. But then they're like, burn the witch. That is a very specific character that everybody at this point in time would draw a conclusion of.
Very interesting. We talked about our episode on witches and who was deemed a witch. Would we say that Freddy Krueger was deemed a witch?
Yeah, and possibly burned irrationally.
Yeah.
That he never did anything. Because if you see in the first movie, he's terrified. He doesn't know what's going on. And any of the subsequent times when they show them bringing the lynch mob against him until Freddy's dead, when they kind of go a little bit more into the history of it and kind of show that he was a brutal person. But again, I can't really recall if there was ever any true evidence that he killed a kid. I think the only evidence they give you in Freddy's dead is that he definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, killed his wife.
Right.
Because the daughter saw him kill the wife, and he promised her to never tell anybody.
Yeah. So, if the townspeople killed this guy for something he didn't do, maybe it wasn't that he came back as a spirit of vengeance. Maybe it was that their guilt
was killing them. Definitely.
Yeah.
What was the dissociative disorder that they have, this other thing that they created from this terrible thing that they did, that is actually this whole other personality that can shut off their understanding of what it's doing to them? Which, I mean, again, I know I've referenced the Bell Witch so many times.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that say that that's kind of like what was going on there, that it was actually a grief thing, not a witchery thing. And that the youngest of the Bells was making this happen to protect herself. So,
this goes back to a theme that Urza obviously agrees with.
Yeah, Urza's launching the rockets, so she wants us to wrap it up soon, I guess. She needs to get these rockets off the ground.
The recurring theme is that the monsters that we are afraid of, that come out, that are the killers, or the clawed dream demon, or the zombie, or the witch, none of those are as bad as people.
None. Yes, correct. People are the worst.
People create and vilify and spread hate, and some part of their subconscious is what creates these things.
And even with Krueger, if you watch again, Freddy's Dead, it's one that kind of goes into his background and shows how like Alice Cooper was such a bitch to him. So he had a horrible like childhood and was taught that pain was what was a teaching thing. That's how you taught people.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Jackie Earl Haley.
Jackie
was
Earl Haley.
The name you were
Good
looking
call.
for.
I still think Haley Joel Osment would have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a chunky, short
Yeah.
Freddy.
Hey, Freddy's here.
Oh, that's your Haley Joel Osment?
Nope, that was my Freddy. I said, hey, you
That
guys,
was
Freddy's
good. That
here.
was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
All right, well, we have, once again, not at all covered Dream Demons.
At all, and
Yeah.
you're welcome.
So if you guys tuned in just for Dream Demons, you missed it.
You missed it. Shoot.
Yeah. We do have upcoming episode about the Bell Witch, and we do have, what was the other episode that we said was coming up that we're looking forward to?
You mentioned it earlier, but I don't remember what you said.
I don't either. It feels like that was half an hour ago.
Yeah. I want my time back.
Guys, check out the rest of the stuff that we'll have out on the channel today. And otherwise, you guys have a rotten morning.
Have a rotten morning. Stay rotten.
Stay rotten.